You know, one quick note on this, and it's a good segue. Rico's new episode of the 5-Star Zone is out. Special guest, me, because I thought Scott Frost was going 8-4 this year. And it was, this is the year. Well, not only did Scott Frost fail, Scott Frost was paid $7.5 million to leave, and they went, you know what? We'll give you another $7.5 if you leave now versus 3 weeks from now. Think about this.
Yeah, he didn't go 8-4. He went 15-0.
Think
as
about
in 15.10 million.
Think about how atrocious you have to be where someone says to you, look, the sight of you makes me so sick, I will pay you double the amount I need to rather than wait 3 weeks.
I just want, where's all the money in Nebraska coming from? Is corn that profitable?
Is it Buffett? Did he even go to Nebraska?
You now have 4 coaches that they've bought out or are still on the payroll.
Like, who are the
and
rich?
And they have to bring in a new coach.
Rich Nebraska alums. Who?
You know who said he'd take the job?
Oh.
We didn't talk about this one on the podcast. I forgot to bring it up.
Huh.
The second Scott Frost got fired, this guy said, I'm available to be a head coach. Former NFL player, because nobody has signed him yet. Former Nebraska Cornhusker. Former Detroit Lion.
Ndamukong Suh?
Ndamukong Suh?
And Ndamukong Suh said he wants that job.
What's he going to do? Rip the opposing coaches' heads off? Kick people? Okay, good for him.
No, I'm just, he put it out there like, hey, I'm available. I'll take the job. I mean, the amount of money that they are throwing around because their next coach, they're going to have to pay
a lot
to get him here. $15 million at this point. Yeah, you're Ed Orgeron. Just tell me which door to walk out of. I'll take that check and I'll leave.
So, yeah, look, Rico's new episode is out. Odyssey, Spotify, Apple, wherever that is, 5-Star Zone. Cash the ticket. We gave you the recap episode yesterday. College will cut tomorrow. Pro will cut Thursday. I'm on fire in the NFL. College has been a struggle, man. I still think, just to build off of the weekend report, it's like every 15 years you get a chaos year. I was thinking about this when I was doing prep for the pod. 1990 was a chaos year. Colorado G-Tech split the national title. A total chaos year.
Good pull.
A little more than 15 years ago, 2007. Absolute chaos year. And now, 15 years later.
Wait, 7, was that LSU?
I don't want to ruin it for you.
Okay.
Go look. Okay. But now, 15 years later, I think we're in another chaos year. Because the portal, the uncertainty, the NIL, the transfers, the way this is all working, it's total chaos.
And imagine had you already had the college football playoff expansion already. You would have a lot of great games.
It'd be nuts. But, yeah, Rico's, all the pods, all the content we're putting out there is Spotify, Odyssey, Apple, wherever you get them. So download, subscribe, do the business. And then the new episode for the NFL stuff, Boomer and myself, Friday night that comes out. So let's get into college football a little bit. And you know, it was funny because I was talking to Jansen. He was walking out. I was walking in. We had a quick conversation about U of M. And I just said to him, I go, John, do me a favor. I said, you know, you're Mr. Wolverine. I said, tell me when I'm allowed to evaluate your football team. I said, when are you going to play somebody that I can actually take something out of the game? I said, we all know that JJ is talented. It's never been about JJ not having physical gifts. But if you're making determinations based off of playing Hawaii, I can't help you. Based on playing Colorado State, I can't help it. I think Colorado State just lost to the Bob Ross School of Art last week.
They did.
I just look. It is clear as day. This is a setup. Cade's done. I don't know if he recognizes it yet. And it's JJ's gig. And whether you want that or not, it doesn't matter. Whether it was handled correctly or not, it doesn't matter. I'm dealing in where we're at. Mm-hmm. It's JJ's job.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think you're doing him or the program a service by playing a schedule like this, but it is what it is. He's going to go out against UConn. He'll get another 12 to 15 pass attempts. They will sit him down again.
See, I disagree because my only thing is, as you said, we're not going to go back and, as you like to say, re-adjudicate this. But I think you should have just handed JJ the keys game one. This is actually the best season to get because you're playing nobody. You're going to get 5-6 games of just on-the-job experience. It's not practice because they're going to come after you, but it's not a real game either.
No.
Where you
Saturday
could
night-
actually lose. Where you can make all the mistakes you want and you can still overcome them. I think this was the best time to make the switch. So I'll give Harbaugh credit for not dilly-dallying around and saying, well, maybe I'll put – no. If you're going to play JJ, play him.
Can I ask you a question?
You're only going in if he gets injured.
Where was Cade? Did you notice there wasn't a single shot of him on the sidelines?
I mean, did you really need to see him?
I'm
sure. No,
don't get into my needs. I asked you a question. That was a conversation on the broadcast. They never showed him once. And I saw plenty of JJ on the sidelines. Now, look, this whole thing has been bizarre to me where Cade gets voted a captain, yet his teammates, the energy in the game was totally different with Cade coming in. JJ comes in, everyone's excited, and they show JJ a million times on the sideline. Talking to guys, high-fiving guys, helmet taps. Where was Cade? Did Cade disappear?
No, you're right, because what was it in that first press conference? Was it Eric Hall that sat next to Cade?
It was Maisie Smith.
Mozzie Smith,
Mozzie
yeah.
Smith, sorry.
Mozzie Smith, and Mozzie kind of had that look like, yeah, we haven't told you officially what's going to happen as soon as we leave this press conference, but Cade, I know something you don't. So you go ahead and finish up, and when we do, meet me out in the hallway because you're about to get whacked. But yeah, that's a great question. I just assumed that it was just a JJ show, so you just wanted to show the new hotness.
But here's
to show
the thing.
JJ.
This is the problem I have. Now, it's good if we're in the business of just wanting to win games. I don't know when I get to evaluate Michigan. I think any evaluation for Colorado State, Hawaii, UConn, it's foolhardy. I know in 2 weeks, I know what I'm up for. It's going to be Rico's annual, but the Terps are feisty, and then Michigan's going to beat them 68-2. But, like, when you really look at this, here's my only concern. I've always been a believer, if you don't schedule people or you don't have a schedule that tests you, you're going to arrive in a tough spot and you're not going to react as well because you don't know what you have. So, look, preseason, I think we all thought Michigan going to Kinnick would be a really tough spot. Iowa, 166 yards of offense followed by 150 yards.
Followed by one touchdown. This
Right. That's not a tough game anymore. I don't think anybody looks at Penn State and goes, this is James Franklin's year.
You know in Michigan's I'm saying, and David, I'm going to have to ask you because you're the Michigan fan. I think it's probably going to be maybe Penn State or the week between Penn State and Michigan State, but it's a bye week in between. Probably Michigan State's going to be their first test. Now, here's the problem. Most Michigan fans will tell you Michigan State is all smoke and mirrors, so that would leave November 26th, Ohio State. That's your first real test of what you are.
It's kind of like all the 70s.
That this
is basically like Bo's career, where it was the big two and little eight. Because look, MSU has to prove what they are, and I'm excited for this weekend's game, and I mean that. And they'll be like, "Yeah, you won't be excited if you lose." No, that's fine.
Because at least you'll know.
The reality is, we're not winning a national title. Neither are you. No one's beating Georgia, and I want to know what my team is as I head towards the ultimate goal, the realistic goal, winning the Big Ten. Yes, I want to play Washington. Look, when you go to the West Coast as a Big Ten team, and Michigan fans, you know this. You went to Oregon and lost. You went to UCLA and lost. You went to Washington and lost. You went to Utah and lost. Big Ten teams go out there, you lose. I want to see it. It's like when MSU went down to Miami. That was a big game. It didn't matter that Miami wasn't super. It was a test. For Michigan, there's a very real shot. We kind of meander through this season where, Michigan fan, let me ask you, what did you take out of that game? We all know JJ's got a better arm than Cade and he's faster than Cade. It's never been about that. This has been about, are you unseating the team captain who led you to the Big Ten title? And really any performance against any of these teams doesn't matter to me. Now, look, Cade looks absolutely broken. Something is amiss there. Because when Cade came into the game, energy dropped, teammates' energy dropped. This is what I'm watching. Mm-hmm. It was different.
Yeah.
Crowd, forget it. I think anyone booing Cade McNamara is a disgrace. You're just disgusting human beings. Bottom line is, it's JJ's gig. We all knew this. We knew it. We knew it the moment the crowd turned on Cade against Colorado State how this was going to go. Mm-hmm. So, okay, JJ's a starter. Let's rock and roll. It's interesting. It's going to be fun to watch. Let's do it. But, Michigan fan, what do you take out of what you're watching? I'm fascinated by this. I'm jaded.
No, you know what they take out of it, Mike?
I can't take anything out of it.
Here's what they take out of it. And once again, David, stop me. Throw the flag if I go off course. That number 4 next to their name. That number 4 means right now you're on pace to go back to the college football playoffs. You just win your games. And if you do it correctly, even if you lose a close game to Ohio State, you may still back into that 4th spot because there's so much chaos in college football.
Totally disagree.
This is the perfect time to play Cade because after UConn, you have Maryland who can't play defense.
You mean JJ?
JJ, I'm sorry. You have Maryland who can't play defense. You'll have Iowa who can't play offense. You'll have Indiana who's bad.
Stinks.
You got Penn State. We'll find out about Penn State this week when they take on Auburn.
When's the last time Penn State came to the big house and showed up?
Never.
They get drilled in Ann Arbor every time.
So now you basically, it comes down to the 29th. You got Mel Tucker and Michigan State coming into to the big house.
And I have no idea what we are.
And then after that, you go to the Warriors of the Raritan. And then you got Nebraska at home. And then you got Illinois at home.
Seriously. And guys, part of it's your fault, part of it's not. This isn't personal. We're speaking in reality. And I disagree with Rico completely, but I don't want to do that show, and I don't want to bicker about a hypothetical. There is no way in HELL hell you're getting in with this schedule against a one-loss team from the SEC or a one. You're not. I'll tell you right now.
You mean with one loss?
It's not happening.
Mike, here's why. It's the brand. It's Michigan. And if your only loss is to the Buckeyes, they're going to say, well, because at that point, Ohio State may be 1 or 2.
Right, but your problem is you can't defend it. By the end of this year, realistically.
Is this your first time? College football is based on what you did 15 years ago, not based on what you do this year.
That's wonderful. I'm talking about my opinion on this. I don't really care.
Okay.
By the end of this year, there's a chance they don't beat a single ranked team. Penn State's going to lose to Auburn this weekend. Michigan State's probably losing to UW. And I don't know what MSU is. Here's my point. Look at the rest of the teams on that schedule. Iowa's never going to be ranked. Nebraska's never going to be ranked. Illinois, Indiana. Keep going. Rutgers. Who?
Maryland.
No one. No. My point is, it's the worst Big Ten I can remember.
So if you
and David just flipped me off. I'm sorry.
But here's what I'm going to do. I have an opinion on what you said earlier, Mike, and what you said, Rico. I'll give you that when we come back.